Hey gang, and welcome to another Animal Crossing video. I'm Crossing Channel, and when it comes to options in Animal Crossing New Horizons, there's a lot that you can do. For example, we have the Terraforming feature, which is a new addition to this game that has allowed us to do so much with our islands that we couldn't do previously in past Animal Crossing games. However, there are some certain interesting tricks that we simply can't do, yet Nintendo has shown off themselves multiple times. Now, these tricks would actually be possible to do within the game, but for some reason Nintendo hasn't let us do them. So I wanted to go over 3 of these interesting island tricks that Nintendo won't let us use in Animal Crossing New Horizons, see what they are and how they could be great in the game. Before we continue with the video, I wanted to say that this video is sponsored by Disney Emoji Blitz. You can download the game for free using my link in the video description. I'm also hosting a giveaway for playing the game, so stay tuned for more details. Disney Emoji Blitz is unlike any other match-free game. Each emoji has its own unique power-ups and you control what to use, letting you strategize with each game that you play. I love the Mandalorian, so Mando is definitely my favorite emoji, and he's just one of many that you can collect. You can also use the emojis to text your friends, which is pretty cool in my opinion. And for you collectors out there, there's a lot for you to get your hands on, and the game is always getting updated with more emojis. There's even a Darth Maul event in the game going on with Pod Racer Anakin and Queen Amidala. Use my link down in the description to download the game. The link works as a creator code, so anything you spend within the game will help support me and the content that I make here on this channel. I'll also be hosting a giveaway over on Instagram to reward you for playing the game. I'll be giving away a $30 Amazon card, and to enter all you have to do is download the game using my link, get to level 20, screenshot that, send it to me on Instagram. If you've entered one of these giveaways in the past, you'll need to get to level 25 as a part of a new challenge. I'll choose the winners in a month from this video going live, and once again, thank you to Disney Emoji Blitz for sponsoring this video. So when I show you the first island trick that I'm going to go over in this video, you might be a bit confused about what I'm showing you. Well, let me highlight exactly what I mean. Now, it might not look like much immediately, but Nintendo has shown off in their trailers for the game and other footage multiple times that it is actually possible to curve cliffs in a much more dynamic way. Now, this may sound a little bit confusing, so let me explain the best way that I can. Basically, if you want to curve your cliffs in Animal Crossing New Horizons using your terraforming tool, you can only do this if you've got 3 tiles in a row. You can't do this with 2 tiles. If you try and do it with 2 tiles, you'll only be able to curve one edge, not both. So basically, the simplest way of explaining it is, you can't make a point with your cliffs in Animal Crossing New Horizons. Yet Nintendo has shown us on multiple occasions that this is something they can do, yet we simply aren't allowed to. And I really don't know why they decided to not let us do this. To be honest with you, terraforming does feel pretty limited in Animal Crossing New Horizons, which is definitely a shame because it is the game's flagship feature. It's a massive new addition and you can do so much with it to make your islands really cool, don't get me wrong, but some of the sort of cliff layouts and stuff they've shown us in their trailers simply aren't possible in the game because they haven't given us the ability to curve our cliffs dynamically like this. And this is really interesting to me because it's something I'd love to be able to do. It really frustrates me, the limitations that we have with terraforming New Horizons. I definitely think some kind of terraforming overhaul or update would be welcome. I think that would improve the game in a major way, especially because this is the game's major feature. Not only should they allow us to do more, like curve our cliffs more dynamically like you can see here, but they should also allow us to destroy masses of land at once, terraform huge areas at once within a single sweep, rather than having to do it one by one, which is honestly so tedious. I just really wish we could do this one at the very least, because they've shown us that it is actually possible for them to do. It is often the case with video game trailers that they show off things that you can't actually do within the game, and Nintendo has done this a lot with Animal Crossing New Horizons, but it just makes us wish that we could do it for ourselves. The next item on this list is all about trees. Now, trees obviously play such an important part of Animal Crossing New Horizons and basically every Animal Crossing game. Now, something that is a big shame about Animal Crossing New Horizons that I really hope they would have changed is that you would have been able to put trees right next to the river and right on the edge of cliffs as well. And sadly, this is something they don't allow us to do, despite the fact you can actually see them do it multiple times throughout the different trailers and footage of the game that they've shown us. So clearly this is something that you possibly could do, and something that's really interesting is that by using a glitch in the game, you can actually make this happen. That's how possible it is to do. It doesn't break your game or anything like that. There's literally no reason for them not to allow us to do this, but for some reason we simply can't. Now, when I saw this in the early trailers for the game, I was almost certain they were going to allow us to put trees right on the edge of our cliffs and right next to rivers, which would have allowed a lot more potential for decorating in the game. And it wouldn't be too much of an issue in terms of you getting stuck or anything like that, because we have the rescue service, and of course, most players have access to things like axes anyways if they couldn't access the rescue service for some strange reason. So I really can't imagine why they don't allow us to do this. I think it'd be a really great change though, and since trees play such a huge part of decorating Animal Crossing New Horizons, I mean, basically every island will have at least a few trees, even the city core ones, so the fact that they limit us so much with them is really strange to me. Now, one argument that I have seen is that, okay, if you planted a fruit tree next to the river, all the fruit would fall into the river if you shook it. But why is that an issue? It's just some fruit, and other stuff can fall into the river. For example, you can have balloon presents fall into the river, so why would some measly fruit be an issue for that? I really don't think that's a good enough reason for Nintendo to not allow us to do this. It's a really simple change that would improve the game in a good way, in my opinion. It does seem like a minor thing, maybe to people who don't do much decorating or don't really care about the trees. I do definitely get that, but for me, trees are a huge part of my island design, and I could have done so much more if I wasn't limited with where I could place them. So for the final item on this list, we're going to be looking at trees once again, and another really interesting trick that we aren't allowed to use in Animal Crossing New Horizons. Something that we haven't been able to do in any Animal Crossing game since the original version. So this is something that actually has been in Animal Crossing in the past, but something they took out, and you can kind of understand this one. This would make things very annoying if you could just have a ton of trees right next to each other all around your island. It would make it feel really cramped, and I think you definitely struggle to get around if that were the case. But there definitely could be some extra limitations and safeguards in place for this. Maybe you can't do 3 trees next to each other in a row or something like that. But either way, they've shown us in trailers that this is something they can do in their version of the game. Obviously, they're the developers, so they can literally do anything they want with Animal Crossing New Horizons, but these are things that we would be able to do ourselves as well. It's clearly possible that this is something we could be able to do, we just aren't allowed to, sadly, and this is another thing that I would like to be able to do. It would just allow for more variety around the island, more possibilities in terms of decorating, especially with foliage, especially for quite small areas where you can't really place things in a sort of tiny little gap or whatever. You'd be able to do that a bit better if you were allowed to remove these limitations. I don't think Nintendo will ever bring this one back personally. I could see them allowing us putting stuff next to rivers or right next to the edge of cliffs. I could see that happening maybe in a future game, but this one personally I don't think is ever going to happen again, which is definitely a shame because, like I said, it was a thing in the original, and I'm quite sad that it's not a thing here in Animal Crossing New Horizons. So, what do you think about these 3 different tricks that Nintendo won't let us do in Animal Crossing New Horizons? Would you like to be able to remove some of these limitations and decorate more freely, terraform without certain limitations? Definitely let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you made it to the end of the video, be sure to comment Bob's Gang down below so I know you did. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and turn on channel notifications for more. Also, make sure to download Disney Emoji Blitz using my link in the video description and enter into that giveaway for a chance to win a $30 Amazon gift card. If you want to help support me and my channel, click the join button down below the video or the link in the description to become a channel member and a member of the Bob's Gang. You can get a whole bunch of really cool perks for doing so, such as exclusive emojis, a badge by your name, exclusive content and posts, and so much more, so be sure to check that out.